I'm Christopher Hicks from 444 Woodward Court, Cincinnati, Ohio, 45255. Thank you for the chance to address the board. Last meeting, I addressed the board as well, and there was a court reporter present at the meeting. I actually took a picture of the court reporter at the meeting that was taking down everything that was being said, only at one time during public participation period. As soon as that was over, the court reporter packed up and left. And I learned from Ms. Wick that it was not a library-sanctioned court reporter, but I think somebody that was arranged by Mr. Braun. That was really nothing more than an attempt to chill First Amendment speech by only during public participation time having a court reporter sitting next to the people participating that promptly got up and left as soon as public participation time was over. I think it's reprehensible, and it's another example of what I think is some ethical challenges that need to be addressed. At that meeting, I read this letter as it relates to Mr. Braun. I'm not going to reread that letter at this point in time. But since I read that letter, Mr. Braun was quoted in the press. He said in the meeting that there were elements of this letter that were patently untrue. Those are his words, patently untrue. I've reached out to him. I've reached out to his attorney, George Johnson, over and over again, asking, could you please let me know what's patently untrue about anything I said. I'm prepared to defend what I said and present evidence to support the comments that I made and read out of that letter. So, we sit here, I've got nothing telling me what's patently untrue, and I've tried to be extremely cautious with distribution of this letter beyond this group and what I read last month. But I still get no response. I get no clarity on what specifically was patently untrue about those remarks. I get nothing of what I call like a cease and desist or anything like that telling me what the particular issue is with those items. Here's the reason I think it's a problem. They're true. They're true. Intimidation tactics aside, such as having a court reporter for public participation time at a library meeting of all things, an institution that should represent the highest minded ideals of First Amendment rights of citizens, but is just wrong, So, let me conclude. I have plenty of time left. I think I get either 3 or 5 minutes. Mr. Braun took the opportunity at the end of my remarks last time to utter one line, that portions of them were patently untrue. Let's just take a couple seconds now before I surrender the podium to give Mr. Braun a chance. I know he's not obligated to, but to respond on what specifically out of what I read last month at this board meeting is patently untrue. Anything.
So, Mr. Hicks, do you have anything else in conclusion?
No, I still have some time left. I just want to have some silence and let Mr. Braun say anything that's patently untrue out of the remarks I made last month at the library board.
So I thank you for coming to the board and speaking.
Okay.
Thank you.
I guess I have my answer from Mr. Braun. Thank you, members of the library board. It's very hard for me to stand here, but I'm going to read a letter that I submitted earlier today to all of you with respect to Mr. Braun, who I have called on to resign from this board. Mr. Braun, much has happened and many things are broken. Some can be fixed, some cannot. I want you to get on a path of accepting responsibility, changing for the better, fixing what can be fixed, and giving over what cannot be fixed to a higher purpose. One part of that path involves stepping down from the Clermont County Public Library Board. You and I can probably visualize the heroin addict hitting more of an ethical rock bottom. But what does it look like? What does it look like when a white-collar professional hits more of an ethical rock bottom? You write a text message like this, where I redacted out 2 names. Quote, if it gets out, even as a rumor, I will lose my career. I know this. You know this. You will not be happy with your husband, and I will not be happy with my wife. I can't be a good father to my own kids knowing all this. Your husband will resent you and the child. I have already resigned myself to what I need to do. I will have everything in order later this week to do it. And then you pay $15,000 in return for an abortion in silence. You violated your rules of professional conduct by having sex with a client. You paid what you had called extortion. You ended a family, you ended a life while claiming to be pro-life, and in Amelia, you used your position to trample citizens' rights. I don't think you should be in a position of public trust on those points alone. But when confronted with the truth, you denied, you told changing stories, and belittled those telling the truth. You even had a lawyer, George Johnson, come after me and others and spun yarns about FBI wiretap investigations. Your actions have not shown responsibility or remorse. Even now, you had the December 17th Library Board meeting moved from Amelia to Miami Township to protect you. You know you are under investigation by the Supreme Court Office of Disciplinary Counsel. There are audios, pictures, texts, emails, receipts, and even video. I encourage you to change. There are two paths. Truth, that means taking the path of responsibility and making real and lasting change. It's about putting something other than yourself first. Fiction, that means taking a path of fooling yourself, not changing and putting you first. One of those paths is selfish, one is selfless. My wife truly believes that everything happens for a reason. Perhaps the reason for all of this is to take a pause, really take a pause, accept responsibility, stop the madness, and move toward redemption and to be selfless. Joe, you were asked by Greg Simpson to resign from the Republican Party Central Committee for actions that, quote, have not been in line with the core values and principles of the Republican Party, end quote, and for, quote, irresponsible conduct, end quote. You have refused. I'm asking you to reconsider and also resign from this board for the same reasons, but also because I'm not sure how you address this all without stepping back. Neither you or I can fix a voice that is forever silenced. And we will never know what type of person they would have been. It's tragic. What happened to get to that point is tragic. What happened afterwards is tragic. And the fact that I've had to write this letter is tragic. Thank you for the time to address this board.
Mr. Hicks, I appreciate your comments related to the library and library policies. However, there were several things you said relative to my personal life and my professional life that were patently untrue. Thank you. Next.
I told her that, yes, I gave you money. That's all I told her.
What was the reason that you gave me money? What did you tell her?
I told her why.
Which is what?
You know the reason why.
Which is what? Which is what?
You know what the reason was. It was for you having the procedure. I told her that. I then told her that you were not. I then told her that you were not.
But
Listen.
wait a minute. I specifically told you that I didn't want you giving me money, and you insisted. You insisted. I did not ask you.
She already read the text about all of that. She read she read this exchange.
But I told you not to give me any money, and you said you wanted to help me. But did you tell her, so if you said that you gave me money for the procedure, did you tell her that I told you not to give me the money?
No.
And why?
Because that was not the way it went down.
Okay, but that's the truth.
It.
You fucking insisted. You insisted.
Okay.
You me for an abortion?
Did I?
You? Yeah.
Yes.
I thought
No,
you
you
told me.
said, direct quote, if I'm going to do this, you're going to invest in me. That's a direct quote.
You told me if I didn't have an abortion, you would kill yourself.
Yeah, I told her all that.
And what did she say? And what was her response?
Horrified, and she believed that I would. I didn't sugarcoat anything. Humiliating.
Yeah, you did when you fucking told her that I'm extorting you.
I did not tell her that, okay? I don't know why she feels this way. I don't even care about the money, okay? I don't.
I should have never had the abortion. I deal with that pain every fucking day.
All right.
I deal with that pain
You know what?
every day.
All right. I am calling right now, and I'm gonna stop her from talking to him. At some level, you just have to trust me that I'm going to take care of this, or that nothing's going to happen.
I think you're a fucking liar. I think you're a liar.
Okay. Nothing's going to happen from this, okay? Nothing.